So before we get going, I love seeing the photos people have been putting up, the expanded menu with the, plenty of beers on tap, and just the look of how the room's looking awesome right now.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm excited. The space is much needed, and we're ready. Nice. Take a sticker, man.
So Hannigan, you may find this funny. I was talking to Katie was looking for some Outer Range earlier this week. And actually, funny enough, I'll wait for her to get in here. But I traded her a couple of cans today, and she gives me this Wiley breakfast strudel wheat wine. Check the date on it. It's from October 2018. Katie, this is still legit almost over a year and a half later.
I figured it would be. I mean, it's been in a fridge. It's not like it's going to go that bad.
Yeah, the wheat wine, I mean, it holds up. It's super sweet, though, for 10%.
The wheat wine, they're definitely a little sweeter.
Yeah, it's maple pecan, so this one's going to last me a little while.
How you doing, Josh?
Doing pretty good, Mike. How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Looking forward to. I hear they, submitted something to the state to look at starting to reopen restaurants, and I would think that would mean breweries as well. So just interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They need to, from what I talked to Chris Wright about at Pikes Peak, it would only be brew pubs at this point.
So the food component?
Right.
Gotcha.
The health department is being super weird about for some reason they don't feel like they can inspect like ourselves, like a manufacturer, like they would normally. I don't know. They're being super weird about it.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds like bureaucracy.
Yeah, they were gonna send liquor enforcement to do it instead, and liquor enforcement's like, that's not what we do. All that, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like we got a pretty good crew here. We can get started. Sorry, I had to open a beer and hope it didn't spray out everywhere on me. So, Josh, thanks for coming on the virtual Meet the Brewer.
Yeah.
Basically, this just becomes a big, sort of round table. Everyone gets to ask questions and sort of beer life and how you're surviving the shutdown. So I think everyone knows you here, but if you just want to give a quick little rundown of Fossil and how you became to be the main guy at Fossil. And
sure. So I guess Fossil, we had as a company had our 5-year back in October. But we didn't throw a party because we were under renovations. But basically, a buddy of mine started it with some friends. I think it took them, it was back in 2014 or 2013. It's been a few years. They took like a year and a half or two to get it open. And about a year into it, everybody kind of wanted out. So my wife, Megan, and I bought in. I was working at St. Arnold's in Texas. Houston for a while, and that's kind of what took home brewing into, I guess, larger scale professional brewing. And I always wanted to do this. It's funny, back in college, Northern Arizona, Katie knows.
You went to the same college.
I actually, one of my final papers was a business plan for a brewery. So I've kind of wanted to do this for a long time. I was a biology major and a business major in management. So it kind of, everything fell into place. It was just the brewing aspect I needed to learn. And St. Arnold's kind of accelerated that. Fast forward a few years, Megan took a job. She grew up here. She's a local. And that's kind of what brought us here, and started making friends in the industry, and now we're here. We're doing a huge renovation, doubling our size, doubling our capacity, almost, I guess it's a little more than doubling our taps selection. We'll have 18 available when we're finished. We'll try to keep all 18 on, but we'll do like I really like the guys from Nectar. We'll do a kombucha, we'll do coffee, stuff like that. Even we work a lot with Pikes Peak Lemonade downtown to do sodas. So we'll have those on tap too. Other than that, we're just cruising along doing to-go beer like everybody else, I think. So enjoying the Swedish fish.
Yeah, I still need to get some of that.
That's what I've got.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, the renovations look good, Josh. I was in there earlier. It looks really nice.
Oh,
I love the lights above the bar.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we're excited. We're gonna try to do the bar top this week, or I should say early next week, this coming week. It's a kind of a patinaed copper, so it should go. If you saw the color, like the lights are kind of copper and black, and the bar is gonna mirror that, but with patinaed copper. Yeah, I'm excited. It's finally like we're past the like full on mess point, and we're getting into the finishing touches, and looking forward to hopefully, by the time we're allowed to reopen, we're like ready to go. So we've been kind of busting ass this week, and our original plan was April, and then we got lazy because we knew that wasn't going to happen, and we were shooting for this weekend, and you know how that goes. So yeah.
So what do you have left? Because it looks like you were working on the tables, and besides the bar top, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, bar top and the bar island still need to be finished. And then we have pretty much all the tabletops kind of finished. We just need to like stain and poly and set them in place. Megan's got a big, if you remember our big mural on the wall, that wall was so out of shape, and we had to pull some plumbing out that we just re-drywalled it. So Megan's going to redo a mural on that wall. And then some woodworking stuff. But as far as like the front, I mean, it's pretty close as far as painting and like overall look, I would say. The brew area we're going to save. We're just trying to focus on the front for now. We still have like our old tanks hooked up, and everything's kind of functional. It's just not permanent yet, if that makes sense.
It's a good sign. At least you're getting there.
Yeah, it's coming. It feels like, at least now it's like feels like stuff's moving. Like when you're just running conduit for electrical, it's like, cool, we worked 8 hours today and it looks the same.
Yeah, that's a tough side of it when you really can't see the changes.
Yeah, I can't see them, but we're there. It's coming. We'll be ready.
Has having less people in the space helped get things moving forward?
Oh yeah, tremendously. March 16th, when he kind of announced like that Tuesday we'd be doing materials. That Tuesday we ripped out our old bar. We were like, we're gonna just tear everything out and figure out how to sell beer from there, and it worked. It's gone now. Completely. The plumbing's gone and everything. We're technically working out of our new bar. It's just not finished yet. So all the taps worn, all the electrical, all the hot water stuff. It's all functions behind the bar. It's just not finished.
That's awesome.
Really helped. To just have the freedom to kind of leave it a little messy every day and not spend 2 or 3 hours cleaning up before we open has kind of expedited everything.
It looks good though. It looks really nice. Every time I go in, it's more and more done. So
Thank you. It's coming. It's been a long process, but it's coming. Yeah, I'm excited.
Josh, I guess we have to do these desert island type things.
Okay.
Especially, it's more like a pandemic type things. If there was a world pandemic and you were stuck drinking the same beer over and over and over again, what would you choose? And then the other side of the question is, if you had to brew the same beer, like there was a shortage of supplies and you had to brew the same beer over and over again, what would you brew?
Okay. That's kind of easy, I guess. Lately, I've been really into Oscar Blues Cannabis. I just love it's super crushable. It's like all things hazy and just tropical, and you can drink, I don't know, the 6-pack no problem. I think if I had to make one beer over and over and over, I'm a crispy boy. I think it'd be a lager or something like that. I don't know. Ryan looks like he froze.
Yeah, I froze for a second there. I just got a thing saying my internet connection is unstable. I'm like, really? What the heck?
Just still.
If you're on Comcast right now, like I am, it's kind of one of those. It goes in and out. They're so overloaded right now, I think.
Yeah, I am, and it's pretty ridiculous. That Cannabis beer is pretty crazy.
Mhm.
So I was really enjoying it every time I had it at Trails End, because they always have it on tap.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know what it is about it. Like as far as like a craft beer, it's like kind of just boring almost, but I just love it so much. It's like I used to drink, what was the, shit. The I can't think of it. Not the Crank Anchor, but the other one. Epic Day used to be like my go-to.
Oh, from Eddie Line.
Yeah.
The grapefruit one?
No, just the straight like double.
Oh, Epic Day, yeah.
Yeah.
The Cannabis is good. I have some downstairs actually. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's a tasty one.
Frozen.
So Josh, can you sort of some of the ways that you guys sort of pivoted your business during this sort of crazy time?
Sure. Obviously we stocked up on crawlers. The nice thing, well, I actually drove to Denver this morning to grab more. They're still like very much on back order. So when you get them, you go get them. But I think the biggest thing we did, other than the crawlers, is like some other places, we kind of pivoted to the mason jar. They're a lot easier for us to sanitize and clean. We don't have to make contact with our taps. And then just like kind of rushing getting the taps done so that we could we always have, more beer than taps in the cooler. And one of the things I wanted to do, since we could only do to go, is get as much of that beer on tap as we could. Also, really pushed merch, and that's about it. Other than that, we just kind of stay true to who we are. We're just selling crawlers, selling beer to go, We've been in talks with one of our buddies about doing like mixed 6-packs to go of like 12-ounce cans and stuff. But we'll see how that pans out. That kind of depends on how much longer we have to do this to go model. But definitely thinking about a canning line now. That would have taken a lot of stress off, and just have stuff that's ready to go, send it out to liquor stores. It would have been made. We've done a few deliveries to our neighborhood, just because I have some neighbors across the street that are big fans. So that's kind of, we just kind of been doing anything and everything we can.
Yeah. I think it's been fun that you guys were able to put out some collaborations like the Weedish Fish, during this whole thing, because I know a lot of those were sort of made for Collab Fest, and then when that got nixed, there's been all these really fun collab beers sort of popping up everywhere, and it's sort of fun to not have to go to the festival to have them all.
Yeah, I really liked I don't know if everybody had the one we did with Brass, but it was like a triple IPA. I love that beer. I was so sad when we ran out.
It did not last long with them either. I had it. I got like one, and it was.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Unfriended. Well, that's
I did have that. That was good.
So we named it Unfriended because, well, Michael and Woody, we're all buddies, but Woody, the night before we brewed it, he went out and got super trashed and didn't come in to help brew. And I was like, how are you not going to come in and help us brew this beer? Like, it's our collaboration. And he never responded to me. So I just started sending him pictures of me actually unfriending him on Facebook, and just a bunch of threatening kind of like, I'll never be your friend again. Like, I can't believe you do this to me. Just, just messing with him. And so when the beer finally like was finished, we were like, we have to call it Unfriended. Like, it was already determined. But it's kind of funny because we brewed, that's the second time we used some odd hops in that beer. Obviously an odd yeast. We used a Norwegian farmhouse yeast. So we finished that beer in like 4 days. It was like 10.5%. And then we dry hopped, we ferment hopped the second day. And then the third day we started our dry hop. And I think the fourth, maybe fifth day, well, fourth day we crashed, fifth day it was in a bright tank. But we use these hops, Belma and Southern Passion. Southern Passion's out of South Africa. Both like super crazy strawberry forward, like melon forward hops. And we'd actually used them before with our collaboration with Deuces a while back, the Belgian that we did with them. So it was neat to see how much it could change by like dry hop rates and yeast character and stuff like that. It's good times. We're also doing we have one more collaboration coming out, and it's with, Nick Friend's doing it, Brass is doing it, Pikes Peak. It's with the Left Hand Foundation. So we brewed that last Monday. I think it'll be out the last week of May. We'll have that available. I think it's out maybe at Brass today, I saw. So you should check that one out. Definitely give it a try wherever you go. Whoever's
that was the Colorado Strong beer, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I just picked up my crowler from Brass. That's as soon as I finish this, that's cracking that next. So that it actually sounds really, really good. And the cans are pretty cool too.
Yeah. It was really cool of them. They kind of they spotted everybody the ingredients. All you had to do was ask them, hey, I want to do this, and they Root Shoot sent you the malt, and Colorado Hop Company sent you the hops, and then Sticker Giant sent you the labels. Like it was just like you sign up, and then bam, 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 all the stuff's there. Wow. Super cool of them. And then like 20%'s going back to them, which is a really nice way to do it. I think, like, just to kind of hook everybody up. It's all Colorado stuff. We used Propagate out of Denver for our yeast. So we stayed true to the whole Colorado only kind of beer.
And what style is that? Is it just like a pale ale?
Yeah, just a pale ale, but the recipe was kind of loosely written, so you could do some interpretation. Like we held back on boil hops, but we're gonna kind of double up on dry hops. So ours will be more of a not so bitter dry hopped kind of IPA. I wouldn't call it an IPA. I guess it's still pale ale, but I think ours, at least our plan is to make it a little bit more dry hop forward of a pale ale.
And when does that release for you guys?
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna say the 27th. Yeah. Yeah, the 27th of May is when I'm planning on having that ready.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll start dry hopping it this week and get it to where we want it.
Awesome.
That sounds awesome. That's a great program. I didn't know they gave you all the ingredients. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it was kind of like a no-brainer. Like we've worked with like Root Shoot before, you know, we've worked with Propagate before. I'd never worked with Colorado Hops company, so that was cool. Yeah, it was super neat to sign up, and then they're like, "Do you want us to send you all the ingredients?" And we're like, "Yes, that's awesome." Like, especially right now, like all of us want to do something cool, but you know that the income is just not there to splurge, you know, a couple $100 on a one-off kind of a thing. So totally
And
worth it.
Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are all good portion of the proceeds are going back to the industry too, or at least a small portion of them, correct?
Yeah, it's 20% out of us. So yeah, it goes to the Left Hand Foundation and then through Colorado Strong. So it'll get back to like tap rooms and bartenders and stuff that are laid off or in need. Super cool idea and like fun at the same time. You know, get to use stuff and different ingredients you haven't used, and for us a new hop, you know, contact. So that's always good. Yeah, I'm excited. It's just it's pretty basic on the pale ale, like malt bill, and then Chinook for bittering and Cascade for dry hop. So pretty standard pale ale stuff. But their hops smell pretty amazing. I mean, their Chinook was kind of more tropical than it was resinous, like it can be, and their Cascade was definitely like more fruit forward than typical. So it'd be really cool.
Sounds like a good mix of hops, anyways.
Yeah, I mean that's basically add CTZ and Citra, and you basically have Mammoth. So
Yeah.
but,
So Josh, you talked a little bit about like what you guys were able to do, you know, while this, you know, work wise, but walk us through like what your expansion is going to do for you guys, just as a whole, and like and what you're doing as an expansion to probably maybe has not been in since you've busted on the walls.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I should have done this on like my iPad. I could have walked you around. So basically, if you can remember our space, we essentially, the tap room essentially tripled in size, I would say, square footage wise. But if you can remember, like we are always kind of a neighborhood kind of brewery. So the bar is kind of like where people want to sit. So we doubled bar seating. So we went from 10 to 20 seats at the bar. We added a huge community table that no one's going to want to sit at anymore. You know, we added low tables. You know, we never had a low table unless it was warm out and you could sit outside. So we have low tables. We have kind of more of the bar top kind of skinny, like sit on stool tables coming. But I think the biggest thing for us is just having the number of taps where we can experiment a little bit more. Like I always felt like with 8 taps, we were kind of limited as to like what kind of weird stuff we could do. You know, you have to appeal to everybody. 8's not a lot. So by the time you start thinking about like what styles do I want to brew this year, you're like, well, we have 4 flagships, right? And then we have 4 taps to basically put something else on. So if I got on an IPA kick and we had 3 IPAs, well, then we have like a whole menu dedicated to IPAs and leave most people out. So with our new taps, that's going to change. Plus with the additional space, like our, I plan on expanding our like sour program and barrel aging program. and lagers. Like we finally have enough like jacketed tanks that we can have a lager in a tank for 4 to 6 weeks and not really cause a hurt on any other production. So I think for us, like just that ability to welcome more people in, have more styles available on a regular basis, and then with those more styles, we'll be able to maybe just do a little bit more distribution into bars and restaurants around town. So if you can't make it here, you can hopefully find one near your house or something like that. I don't know. It just kind of feels like we have an appropriate space now. And it's just kind of relaxing to brew in the space again. More fun.
Do you have speaking of lagers, do you have anything sitting there waiting for things to be reopened?
I do. Because I don't know if everyone knew, we were planning a crawfish boil early April with slowdowns. One of Soto is a Houston native, so we have a lot to talk about when we talk food and beer and stuff. And one of the things we were talking about was like the Bach beers that come out of the hill country of Texas. And so we have like kind of, I'm not going to say it's a Shiner Bach clone. It's a little darker than that, but it's kind of like our version of like the quintessential beer for a crawfish boil. So we're super excited. It's sitting in a tank. It'll eventually hit the Bright, and then I'll put it on tap. But
Yum.
Not this week.
It sounds good. That's the kind of beer you need like at a crawfish boil, because there's all the flavors going like crazy, and you don't want something that like gets in the way. You want something that just knocks the heat down and just lets you keep going.
Knocks the heat down. You don't want to, you don't want 6, 7, 8%. You want a nice 5. You can 5.5. You can drink like while you're eating and keep drinking after you're done. So that's it's coming. It's pretty much ready. I'm just waiting on our biggest bottleneck right now is kegs, like clearing out kegs and getting them clean and then getting new beer into them. So it'll be very much lagered by the time it's on tap.
I expect something clean and crisp.
Yeah, it'll be clean and crisp for sure.
That would be awesome. So do you guys have to, I don't know how many employees you guys have these days. Did you guys have to downsize a little bit?
No, we kept everyone on. We've been really fortunate that we shortened our hours, but everybody seems to be making what they used to make. People have been really generous with tipping, and that's been a huge help for everyone, for us and for them. And it's worked out pretty well so far. It's nice that, the last thing I wanted to do is get rid of anybody. So it's kind of, I feel fortunate that we didn't have to make that decision.
That's good to hear.
We also,
right, I'll open this up to anyone else that has questions. Go for it.
So with the new space, how many bathrooms did you have to add and then remove?
So with the new space, it's double. Like both units were 1440 square feet. Exactly. We still only are required to have 2 bathrooms. So we put 2 bathrooms in. So we're good.
They took 2 bathrooms out and they put 2 bathrooms in, right?
That's right. We did take
there you go.
The drain, one of the drains for the old bathrooms has been repurposed as the sink drain in the new bar. So, keeping true to ourselves. Kept one. We could always put a toilet there.
You still have
awkward.
The shower hooked up?
Yes, the shower's coming. I gotta wait. I tried to. It's funny you say that. Regional was not having it, so we cut it from the plans. It may or may not be something that exists in the future. But I think the nicest thing now is that when you go to the bathroom, you don't have to ask people to move their chairs anymore.
Open the door.
Yeah.
For those of you who weren't here when Fossil first opened, they originally had one bathroom because that's what Storm had at the time, and they thought they'd be able to get away with it. And had basically gotten through a bunch of rounds of inspections with the one bathroom. And like one of the final inspectors came in and was like, "Where's your other bathroom?" And the original Josh and Rich had to basically build a new bathroom and take out 100 square feet of tap room at the last moment, essentially, which was crazy.
Yeah, recut concrete, put in new plumbing, build a wall. Yeah, I remember because I was friends with them at the time. Like I helped them a couple nights when they were originally doing the build out, and I was there one of those nights, and they drank heavily that night.
Well, it's nice to see that you have a lot of space for the brewing equipment now too, instead of having to sort of that be an afterthought.
Oh yeah, it was really tight. I mean, trying to get stuff done and being in such a small space, the kettle, when we'd set it on, get it going, it would just heat the whole place up. It was always on brew days in the summer, all the doors open. It was always triple digits in here. The other, like Monday when I brewed, I only had one door open and it was never warm, which is, well, yeah. And it's kind of more of a focal point too, like show it off. You'll be able to walk around. I mean, we're going to build kind of bar tops along the sides, like for overflow. You'll be able to stand there and, check everything out and walk around. And we will probably add a little kind of like seating area onto the back side of the building, which will be new. So you kind of just have free reign to check everything out and, hang out.
That's awesome. Yeah, it looks just from what we can see in the background of your video, it just looks like there's a whole lot more space, and you have a lot more tanks too.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more space. There's the bathrooms over there with the lights. But yeah, you can kind of see. The amount of space we have. It's a lot more. I used to brew if you can think about this. The mash tun, the hot liquor tank, and the kettle used to be in a space that was not much bigger than 8 by 8. The wall behind me, where the fermenter back up to, is a 22-foot long wall. So that's and it goes back an equal 22 or so feet. So it's much more pleasant, easier to clean, doesn't get as hot. Stuff like that.
No, that's a lot better.
So I was thinking about this when you were talking about being given the ingredients for the Colorado Strong earlier. Has there been, like, in the process of your few years brewing there and everything, has there been a beer that you brewed and you got done and you're just like, what the hell is this? Like, this just didn't work? And also, is there also, like, consequently also, is there a style that you just, while you may brew it, you just don't like it? Whether it's a lot of work, you just don't like the style or something like that?
I'll start there. That's easy. I hate pumpkin beer. I don't know what it is. I know some people love pumpkin beers. I hate the thought, the idea, the process, the flavor. I hate everything that is pumpkin. That being said, I probably will do a pumpkin beer. Or at least I've done one before, I think. It was a big seller when we were at St. Arnold's. Our pumpkinator was like a imperial pumpkin kind of porter stout thing. And it was a huge, huge hit. And I think that's why I just hate them so much. The other question, I forgot what you said already. Oh,
Oh,
beer.
it was a beer that you like maybe you brewed, you got done, and it was just kind of like almost like what the hell did this end up being? It just didn't come out like you thought it would be. And
I had one of those. Was it last year? It was either last year or the year before. We brewed a collaboration. I think it was with Trails and Open Space. It was like a peach pale ale. It just did not turn out how I liked. That being said, people loved it, which was the hardest thing for me. Megan knows, because there were several nights where I would just go back and like take it off tap because I just wasn't happy with it. And then someone would ask, like, "Oh no, where'd the peach pale ale go?" And I'd be like, "All right, we'll put it back on." But that's kind of the worst. I mean, I've been pretty lucky here with not having to really dump stuff or be too unhappy with it. The worst thing we ever had was there was a batch of Mammoth that oxidized in the bright, and like just had to dump it. We went like 3 or 4 weeks without Mammoth, which our crowd is heavily Mammoth forward, and I got a lot of lip for it. It was probably
I was there during that, and I'm like, no.
it was like the longest 3 to 4 weeks of my life. But that being said, like, it's important to, if you don't like them, dump them.
Yeah, especially if there's a problem with it. Like,
yeah, something obvious. Yeah, I mean, it was obvious. I got 1 keg out of it. Like, that was how quick it oxidized. The day before, it was like a Friday. We were going into a weekend. I knew I needed at least 1 keg of Mammoth to get through the weekend, and I kegged it. And when I came in Monday to keg the rest, it had gone bad. And we had basically gone through that keg that weekend. So we were like completely out. I just went home. I dumped it, and then I went home and cried a little bit.
no, I appreciate it. I'm totally with you on the pumpkin. There's 1, maybe 2 pumpkin beers that I drink. Southern Tier does a pumpkin. It's an imperial pumpkin that it's one of the few pumpkin beers that I'll touch, but I'm with you. It gets overkill every year, without a doubt.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do it well. I don't think I need to spend my time making one. I'll recommend one for you.
so Josh, question here. What brewers do you look up to? And do you have a brewer that you would consider like your beer hero?
Okay. I'll think about the hero. I look up to probably a lot of brewers. Anybody that's doing something different, a trendsetter. Guys like Jeff's at Paradox, guys at Purpose, stuff like that. I don't know what a hero would be.
Like, is there any somebody like maybe like some beer person or brewer or brewery owner that you like look up to, or like, man, if I could just live a day in their shoes, it would be amazing?
I think, man, I'm terrible on the spot.
It's okay. It's okay to not have one too, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of like, breweries that I admire. Like people that stuck with it.
Yeah, that works. Like, maybe it doesn't have to be a person. Maybe it could just be.
Yeah, just like breweries like I don't ever see us being huge into distribution, but people like Stone that have just kind of always done their thing. People out east like Treehouse or Trillium that have kind of created a style out of nowhere that has just become a fad, like, across the country. I mean, you can't touch some of that stuff. Those guys are probably like, I mean, anybody that's really like found their own style, I guess. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
yeah, I love guys that, or like, what's that? Plan B. Like those guys. I mean, he started a farm and makes most of the ingredients for his beer on his farm, and that's just fantastic. I mean, you can't touch a guy like that.
I actually hadn't heard of Plan B, so I have to look them up.
Oh yeah, check them out. Their stuff is fantastic. Upstate New York.
Oh, BEE, like an actual bee. That's interesting.
Yeah. He does. He has like beehives, grows his own barley and corn and wheat, and
That's awesome.
yeah, strawberries. I mean, any like fruit that's in his beer is something he pulled from his farm. And he works with a bunch of local farmers. His stuff is just, I mean, if you can get it, it's delicious.
Oh, it's in Poughkeepsie.
That's awesome.
I'm simultaneously Googling it.
We all are. I'm looking it up too.
Well,
Where is it?
I'm out of beer. You Google it. I'll be back. I sat too close.
And I'm pretty sure that we had a Plan B at a bottle share at your house. There were a lot of beers though. So
At whose house? Ryan's.
at Ryan's.
Yeah, I feel like we did at some point.
Yeah, they're kind of like super hard to get. Like I've had the best luck using one of those services like Tabor, because he kind of like he opens up sales. He only sells locally, and then it's gone. You know, it's kind of like Local Relic in the fact that I have like 40 bottles of something and that's it. You know.
I heard someone say upstate for a hot second, and I have friends that live up near Syracuse, Rochester, but sadly it's the wrong side of the states.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah.
Ship
My brother
you could
lived
ship a
in-
case of beer to yourself if you live in New York.
I
My buddy
meant-
Alan had the Zone 6 from them and gave it a 4.5. It sounds like they're pretty awesome. I mean, that's high praise.
Josh, I know Katie posted a photo of the menu board earlier today. You got a couple of things coming. What do you guys kind of have on the upcoming over the next few weeks, maybe?
So we have a tart cherry sour. It's more of a mixed fermentation. It's not really like that teeth wrenching sour. We have another seltzer coming for the gluten-frees or low cal people. Lastly, we did a pineapple sour, kind of based off the same recipe as like the blackberry sour we have on right now. But those were all beers that we just had brewing kind of before all this happened. So we were going to stage them a little bit more. But we just because we had kind of been stocking up for a grand opening or grand reopening. And so we kind of stocked up some of the sours, and we were getting ready to get a couple hazies on and a double IPA and stuff like that. And then we just kind of ran out of space. So I guess the things that are coming besides those ones is the Pale Ale, the Colorado Strong, the Bach, and then we have some we're in plans in the next couple of weeks. We'll have a hazy and a double on. Just kind of get ready for summer. We missed our chance. I really wanted to brew a Mexican lager this year. I just didn't get to it. I guess there's always time. We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, the timing actually worked out. Sorry, you wanted to hold them, stage them a little bit, but coming out with the weather, is it slowly starting to warm up and everything? It's still gonna come out at the right time. And I'll admit I wasn't a big seltzer guy, but starting getting some of you guys brewing some stuff, you guys Brass, some other ones brewing some stuff with good quality stuff in it, and you can get some damn good flavor out of that too.
Yeah, it's it really comes down to like, that was like my big hang up with seltzers was the artificial flavorings that most of them use. And I just can't put myself to put like artificial flavoring in things. So yeah, I think the key to our seltzers is just the real fruit. They end up sometimes being a little sweeter than they should. But so far that's kind of been what people have looked for lately. Especially people that have never had a seltzer before. If you give them something that's like super dry and carbonated, they tend to push it away, but give them something that has a little bit of that fruity sweetness backbone to it, and all of a sudden they just can't believe they never had one before. So that's our plan. I really did like we did this Chardonnay barrel hibiscus one, which turned out to taste more like a rosé wine than anything else. And it was hard for me not to drink it, all of it. I just would sit here and people would be like, what beer is that? I'd be like, it's the seltzer. And they'd be like, why are you drinking a seltzer? And I'm like, it's delicious is why I'm drinking the seltzer. So yeah, I think we'll do more of that. And like I said, we've been teaming up with Pikes Peak Lemonade downtown. So our plan is to kind of mix their lemonades with our seltzers and then end up with like kind of hard lemonades that you can get too, which will be, the total opposite end of that spectrum. They'll be super sweet and, lemonade.
I think that's a good idea though, because so many people are doing seltzers now that if you do like a lemonade type of approach, it's at least a little bit different than what everyone else is doing.
Yeah. And
they're a killer company. So
yeah, I think our thought was that we, the like frozen beer thing has become kind of popular. I hope everyone stopped by Cerberus and tried out Swedish Fish it was so good. But the problem is with the beer, you have to back sweeten it so much to get any of that flavor out. So you end up with like more of a daiquiri than a beer. And we kind of thought if we ever did something like that, we might start with seltzers and a lemonade, and then we're not back sweetening. We're just kind of putting a product out. Yeah, they're kind of like diabetes in a cup. I think Josh told me that they put like 20 pounds of dextrose in 15 gallons to get it sweet enough that it didn't just taste like frozen trash.
That's also to get it to freeze though, right?
Yeah, helps with the freezing for sure. They add a lot of fruit back in too. He added like another 20 some pounds of like cherry fruit to kind of slush it up.
Yeah, because the alcohol doesn't freeze or slush very well.
Yeah, it was delicious, but I mean, one is plenty.
I just have the regular Swedish Fish, so.
Nice.
No diabetes for me.
No, diabetes free. Diabetes. Yeah. I got I don't know if you can see it. Can you actually see it?
Is that the blackberry?
Yeah, that's the blackberry.
It's so good.
I got one of those, but Jared's not home, so I think he might get mad if I open it without him. But if he's, if I finish this beer and he's not home, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because that looked really good. And we'll just have to come buy more crowlers.
There you go.
I do love that you guys have some of the cheapest crowlers in town, though.
Yeah.
Like $10 a crowler.
Try to keep it fair. Yep.
That's really reasonable, and I love it.
That's really reasonable.
I see Darcy outside.
Yeah, she was just coming. The dog was at my feet, and the chickens are out right now, so we had to keep him in the office here for a little bit. The baby is not going to sleep, so.
The Hannigan bun.
When I moved back last year, had been away for almost 5 years. Obviously, you guys weren't there. A lot of places weren't there. You guys got me hooked. Shortly after I got back, you guys dropped the Oreo again. Holy crap!
Oh yeah.
Like people talk, but like I just watched the Facebook posts of people like, you have to get this, and they're talking about how they're going to line up. And I got in there and got one pint, and I was like, this is one of those beers that it lived up. A lot of times you get some of those cookie beers and novelty ones, it's more hype than anything, but that one legitimately, like, I love a good stout, and I mean that was unreal.
Thanks.
How many pounds of cookies do you guys have to add to that thing to make it taste like that?
I don't know how many pounds of cookies.
I do want to know. That's why I'm asking. Speaking of adding sugar to a beer.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrified to get it tested, actually, because I thought about sending it off to the lab because I really should know, like, how much sugar and fat is in it.
But it's all in cookie form. Like, it's not added sugar. It's what's part of
added cookies.
And Oreos are vegan, right? So it's health food.
Yeah, it's all good for you.
We do. I have Thin Mints sitting in my cooler still that I'm going to do a beer with. But the Oreo ends up being, I think if we do two barrels, is that what we normally do? 4 kegs, 2 barrels. It's like, 32 pounds of Oreos.
So a pound. So basically, no, 32 pounds. It's a half pound per gallon.
Yeah, it's it ends up being. Wait, that's it. Yeah, 8 pounds per keg. So yeah.
Yeah, half pound per gallon. Oh, geez. 16 pounds per barrel.
The best part is when I don't really plan it, and then I go to Safeway across the street and I buy 32 pounds of Oreos, and they always ask me where it's going, and I tell them a beer, and then they give me a look of like, I don't believe you.
Like, you're wasting all of them.
Yeah. So
until you get that one cashier that's had it.
Yeah.
You're in.
But I tried to explain the economics of it to one of the cashiers one time, and they straight up did not believe me. So I try to wait till they're on sale. If you ever see Oreos on sale, chances are
there's going to be an Oreo beer pretty soon.
Yeah.
So the next time we see a fire sale somewhere, send you a message.
Mm-hmm.
Like where to find it.
Yeah, if you ever see Oreos on sale for like less than $2.50 a package, you let me know.
We're all gonna keep our eye out now.
I sadly might know a guy.
Yeah,
I just created a Google alert for Oreo cookies.
I have one of our Mug Club members loves it so much that she'll actually send me enough Oreos to make her Oreo stout if we haven't had it recent enough. It's kind of funny.
Wow, that's dedication.
That's dedication.
Have you guys looked at making that more often and more than?
Yeah, I think that's what I'd like to do with having more taps is have it a little more often. Maybe like the last time we did a release was the first time that we had the whole front area open, and it was so much more relaxing. Like people could get beers, people could get growlers. I mean, it wasn't like this
a mosh pit.
This mosh pit. I mean, the time before that, it's like it always terrifies me a little bit to do a release because I mean, we've had people wait in line for 45 minutes before to get a beer, and I don't like that. I don't think that's cool to do. So yes, I think the short answer is yes. I think you'll see it more. I'm hoping with our space that it won't be. I mean, the hype's nice, but I hope that it's a little bit more approachable. Maybe get more people in that before wouldn't come just because of the wait.
In that same vein, though, is there any option maybe to do variants of it that are a little bit more limited?
I've had requests to do like all kinds of the Oreos, because they make like 10 different Oreos now.
Yeah.
I've had the requests for the red velvet ones, the blonde ones, they have a mint one. So
You should do the blonde
maybe we
ones in a blonde. Ooh.
yeah, it would be good. I think.
Like a blonde stout.
Yeah, like a blonde stout with blonde Oreos, like
Hmm.
maybe coffee or something. Kind
Yeah.
of.
Heck yes, coffee. Because you know how you've had the Huss, right? The coffee Kolsch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my benchmark for blonde coffee beers.
Yeah, we did a blonde coffee beer a few years ago. It was really good. Actually, when Ryan did his coffee and beer pairing festival, we did a New England with coffee, like a hazy with coffee, which
It was good.
it was good. Yeah, I kind of just haven't had an excuse to make a beer like that in a while.
Now's your excuse.
Yep, now it's time.
We did. Don't put lactose in it though, because then I can't have it.
No, I typically don't. I don't like. I've never been lactose intolerant, but something about lactose in any beer just like messes with me. So
Same.
bad.
That's why I can't have them.
So I usually, you can almost bet that we don't put it in anything. The only thing is a milk stout, which ends up being the Oreo stout usually, but
it's a milk stout.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's sort of needed. Yeah, there's everyone's posting this. There's a out there right now that's a coffee IPA. I think Nate, you had that right.
Oh, the
Signature.
orange.
When the
Signature.
yeah
That one from New Image.
coffee and grapefruit and vanilla.
Sounds awesome.
Coffee, great.
Yeah, it was very good.
Sounds
It's
like a
really good. Yeah, I still have 2 cans. Like now I want one.
I need to go get some of it.
You know, I really liked Brass had a really good blonde coffee stout that they put out. They might still have it. I really enjoyed it, like a blonde stout. It was delicious.
Yeah, Michael makes good blonde stouts. They make a lot of them.
They just dropped a variation with lavender and something else, and I haven't had it since they dropped a new variation, but I think it's the same recipe. They just added lavender and vanilla, I think it was.
That sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out.
Josh, you're talking about not going to make a Mexican lager. Have you had their Mexican lager they put out? I've gone through like 4 crowlers since they dropped.
Oh, really? No, I haven't had theirs yet. I'll have to go check it out.
All right.
I just missed their buy one get 2 free deal on Monday. So
yeah, that is. I think I've tried to share their stuff as they've shared that post every Monday, but the different industries that they've been sharing to buy 2 get 1 free. I think it's any of the deals, like especially any of you guys. I've seen you guys running crowler deals. I know it's to get business in too, but anything you guys are running during this time I give props to everybody because that's at the end of the day, it's driving business, but it's taking money out of your pocket too. So
yeah, and it's if anything, like this whole experience has taught us, like people are like totally sporadic with their purchasing of beer. Like we'll have like busy Thursdays, and then next Thursday no one will come in, and then like the same for Wednesday, or like the whole week will be like slammed. It's so weird. I haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, the running the deals is nice. Makes it easy. We always run one. We have one all the time. It's like 3 for $30 and then $10 for each one after that. It's kind of like, it's easy because, you know, if you tell them like, oh, you get these 2 and it's $26, and like but if you got one more, it'd be 30, and then if you got 2 more, it's only 40. Like, and then those kinds of things really help right now. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see everybody's different deals. I know like Juices runs their like 4 for $28 every once in a while. Brass with their buy one get 2 free, which I just laugh at that one. That one's crazy. Yeah, it's interesting.
I know. I think the $10 crowlers that you guys do is like really, really reasonable. So
Oh, I get it's simple. It's just something you can like count on. You know, you just come in and you know, like you're gonna get a deal. Like that's what we're here. We're here to sell things.
It's $10 because I'm at least gonna get 2 or 3 or 4 of them. So
Yeah, it works out.
Yeah, I think anyone in that $10 to $12 range, and well, Airman just jumped in here too. I know you guys on the weekends, but at least with your sours, you guys run a lot of them in the $10 to $11 range. And I think that it sounds crazy, but if you price them at $10 to $11 versus 13, 14, like people's minds, me, I don't care if it's good beer. A lot of people will see that $2 difference and they'll be like, I'll go to this place over there. Sure,
Yeah.
for $2.
Jeff, did you get a haircut?
I keep cutting my own hair. Yes.
Nice.
I'm doing the quarantine cut. I've got the long in the back. I look like it should be on the zombie.
It's called a mullet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I just shaved my mohawk off the other day. I couldn't stand it. It was about as long as your hair, and I was like, it's just too hot all the time.
See, and Jared finally shaved off all his facial hair because he wanted to see what it would look like. And he was mortified. And he's like, this is the best time for nobody to see what I look like. So
I'm just having fun because expectations are lowered in general, so I can get extra crazy. It's good.
I mean, I didn't shower today. My hair is like greasy
Exactly.
as crap. I barely
Exactly.
put on makeup, so we're all doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
Every day this week.
But that was one thing I learned about moving to Colorado too. And Josh, maybe you, because you were from Arizona as well, is like Colorado is so much chiller than anywhere I've ever lived. So like I have so many outfits that are like adorable and cute, and I'm like, you don't wear them here because no one is like dresses up. It's so casual here.
So casual. It's the same with like cars and everything else. Like materialistic stuff. It's so different. You know, like Phoenix is huge. The only thing that's different in Phoenix is if you like have something cool to show off, because everything else around you is just kind of beige. So like the coolest thing you can do is have something cooler than someone else. And like everyone's here is like, well, if you buy that, you can't take that down a dirt road. Like,
Is it your family that lives in Fountain Hills?
No, they live in Tempe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does Megan's family live in Fountain Hills?
No, they live here. They live in Tempe.
Oh, okay. Then I'm totally off. But either way, yeah, I know how it is. It's like,
I used to make
Did you go to McClintock? What high school did you go to?
what?
McClintock?
No, I went to Brophy.
Oh, okay.
My high school would have been Corona.
Okay.
so Brophy was one of my clients, actually.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. And Jeff, I don't know if you know that, but me and Josh and Megan all went to NAU.
I did not know that, actually. That's pretty darn
Lumberjacks.
cool. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few Arizona connections too through family and stuff. So I spent some time down there, but that's awesome.
NAU.
I mean, we're lumberjacks.
It's not a cool, but it's a cool ass city. Like I love
That's
that.
That's in Flags, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved my time there.
I had
If
some good friends that went there.
I moved anywhere else and wanted to stay in the mountains, that's where I'd move.
Well, that's why we moved here.
Yeah.
Like once Jared was like, "Hey, like, do you want to move to Colorado?" I'm like, "This place looks like a big Flagstaff." Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like if Flagstaff had big chain stores.
Do you guys know Mother Lode Brewing or Mother Road?
Mother- yeah.
I'll take Mother Lode.
What do you think of them?
I like them.
Yeah, I haven't had them in probably 5 years, so I can't say.
Oh, my buddy Campbell used to be their brewer there. He just left though, so he's no
Does
longer
he have
there.
some things to say?
No, he likes it. He liked it. He's a
Oh, sure.
Because I know somebody that left. I don't know them personally, but they left and had some things to say about it.
oh interesting.
But my favorite brewery in Flagstaff now is Dark Sky.
Yeah, I like Dark Sky a lot.
And actually, last time we were both in Flag. So me and Jared met up with Josh and Megan, and we had beers in Flagstaff because we were just like going by in the same time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were just going to both going to Wisconsin. There